Hello and welcome to Lesson 4 Advanced While Loops tutorial. If you haven't watched it yet, you'll want to watch the beginner tutorial, the beginner while loops tutorial. This is a slightly more complicated version. So, when we're looping, sometimes when we loop, we just want to get a value and then see if it's something. So for instance, like before, we want to get a valid number. If it wasn't valid, keep on asking until it gives us a valid number, which is fine, that's the basics. But sometimes we want to do something like slightly more complicated. So for instance, we want to keep asking until and keep adding up until we get to a certain point. And once we've reached that certain point of adding up, we want to stop repeating and we want to leave the loop. So let's give you an example of, let's say you're trying to create an app where you save money. So each time round, you keep asking the user to enter the amount of money that they've saved that week, and you keep tracking until they get to their target amount. So let's have a go at creating that. So let's have a look. Target equals input. How much do you want to save? There we go. How much do you want to save? So we ask the user how much they want to save, and let's convert that to a number. Target equals int target. There we go. Good, perfect. Now you might actually, in fact, let's just practice what we did before there. Let's put that inside of a loop while true. So that's our first loop, and what we'll do here is, how much do you want to save? If target dot is digit, then we'll break out the first loop, else print invalid, not a number, try again, invalid number, try again, there you go. So there's our first loop. And that is all that first loop wants to do there is just get a target amount. There we go, good stuff. There we go. And once we've got our target amount, we break out the loop and we change that to an integer. So there's our integer, our target as an integer. And all its job is there is just to find out how much they want to save up to. So now what do we do? Well, what we want to do now is we want to keep repeating until the user has saved up to or over their target amount. So before we can start the loop, what we need to do here is we need to set a variable called saved, that's the amount that they've saved, and start it at 0, because that's the amount they start saving at nothing, and they keep going up until they get to their target amount. And what we can do now is we can say while saved is less than the target. Well, the saved is less than target, then we'll repeat. So this is a slightly more complicated loop that will keep looping until whatever they've saved, keep looping whilst their saved amount is still less than their target amount. So what do we do now? Let's have a look. Amount equals input. How much did you save this week? I guess you ask him how much they saved this week, and what we can do here is, this is the clever thing, we change the amount equals int amount, there we go, so we change it to an integer, and then what we do is we add the amount that they've saved to their total amount saved. There we go. So saved plus equals amount. So what this means now is that each time round in our while loop, we will ask them how much they've saved this week. We will take what their amount, change it to an integer, and then we'll add their amount to their saved amount. And it will keep repeating until they reach their target, and then finally you can print, well done, you have reached your target. There we go. Perfect. So let's see if that works. Let's try with that. How much do you want to save? Let's save 100. How much did you save this week? Let's say 50. How much did you save this week? 45. So that's 90. How much did you save this week? 5. There you go. Well done. You have reached your target. Perfect. Good. So that's good. Let's just do a few improvements to this. The first improvement, let's have a look, is let's add this. There we go. Let's do that on one line just like that. So what we've done now is we've asked for the input and we've converted it to an integer all on one line, which is brilliant. That's perfect. So that's made it shorter already. What we could also do there is we can do saved plus equals and then just ask the question. There you go. So here what we're doing is we made it even shorter. So we get the we ask them how much they save, we input it, convert it to an integer, and then we add it to the saved amount. So that should make it even more efficient. That's a nice efficient way of doing it. But of course also we need to make it more robust. So what we could do is we could use something called a try except. And what this does is it tries to do something, and then if it fails, let's do an except there, it will print something else. So why would this line of code here fail? Well, there's only one reason why, and that's if it can't convert the number that you typed in, or whatever you've typed in, if it can't convert it to an integer. So we can just tell them that, print invalid entry, comma, try again. There we go. Brilliant. So that's now even more efficient. That's okay, no exceptions specified. We'll leave that for the moment. That's just a warning. It should just work fine. So now we've got an even more complicated, well, so it's a slightly more advanced version where it will keep repeating whilst the saved amount is less than their target. And it will do this cunning little try except. It will try and ask them for an input and add it to the saved amount. And if that fails, it'll just print invalid entry, try again. So therefore we've covered all our bases. Let's see if that works, shall we? So we run it. How much do you want to save? Let's try 500. How much did this save week? 100. Let's just put it over there a bit so you can see it. 100. How much is over here? 200. 200. And if let's put 2. Invalid entry, try again, and then try 200. Well done, you've reached your target. Brilliant. So again, there you go. Nice simple improvements using a try except. Print. Let's do this as well. Let's do so far you have saved. There we go. And so far you have saved. Saved. Good. Print. Comma out of and then comma target. There we go. Good. That should look better, shouldn't it? Let's try that now. So now, hopefully, how much do you want to save? 600. So far, you've saved 0 out of 600. How much do you save? 400. 400. There you go. Then you've reached your target. Good. There we are. And that's it. So that's the advanced tutorial. That's using a slightly different version. You don't need to break out of this one because the test isn't in the if statement. The test is in the very top of the while loop. Now, this could work either way. You could have done this with the if statement. You could have said if the saved equals, if saved is greater than target or greater than or equal to target, then break. You could do it that way. One argument for using this version rather than the other version is that when you're scanning through code, it's quite apparent what the purpose of the while loop is and where it's going to break. So maybe it's a little bit more subtle in the other way. But there's no right or wrong. You can use either. Have a go and let me know what you think.